This is Miller Philosopher. One of the little mysteries with massive consequences in Tolkien's lore is why Dior, the son of Beren and Luthien, and now second king of Doriath, allowed himself to be taken unawares by the sons of Feanor after announcing himself, his intention to rebuild Doriath, and that he had the Silmaril of his mother to the world. I mean, think about it. His parents must have told him about their fight with Curufin and Celebrum. So, for certain, he knew about the Sons of Feanor and their reputation for being extremely dangerous to everybody. Which just makes it more perplexing why, when he receives a warning from them to give up the now mutual family heirloom, that he would just ignore it. But I think I have a reason for his carelessness. First is that Beren and Luthien were, for all intents and purposes, introverts after their resurrection. I think what happened in Valinor and the effects of encountering not only the Valar, but the judgments of Uru himself had a deep and disturbing effect on them. I mean, how would you react if you died, went to the afterlife, met God, then got sent back to normal life as if nothing had happened? The parents' adventures to retrieve the Silmaril have been epic, but also extremely traumatic. So add on top of all that their afterlife experience, and that would make them, as one Reddit user put it, strange people to everyone else who had not had that experience. Therefore, them choosing to distance themselves from everyone and stay with the Green Elves in Elsirion, further south of Beleriand, elves who understood the importance of keeping to yourself, makes a lot of sense. And I believe that this would imprint itself more on Dior than one violent encounter with some elves whom by this time no one had heard from in years. The second factor in Dior's mistake was that, being that his upbringing was one of essentially being homeschooled, he was well sheltered from the true realities of Beleriand post-Battle of Unnumbered Tears, just like his mother in a way. How much more dangerous and violent the land had become now that the Noldor of the North were defeated and scattered. Now, had Dior been raised among the Sindar or even the Noldor that were not aligned with Feanor, he would have been told just how seriously to take a threat from the Sons of Feanor needed to be taken. As it was, they were probably either a distant fairy tale, or, as Denethor from Return of the King put it so eloquently,
Yes, word has reached my ears of this Arrogance, son of Arathorn, and I tell you now, I will not bow to this ranger from the north, last of a ragged house long bereft of lordship.
Eventually, Dior did not see the Sons of Feanor as a real threat anymore. That is, if he ever did. Thirdly, and lastly, Dior was already preoccupied rebuilding and reorganizing the Second Coming of Doriath. That's a much bigger task than many people give that credit for, given that the original Doriath had thousands of years, more contacts with the Cinder and the Doors of the Blue Mountains to build up and beautify that realm. And this is not even mentioning the divine bonus of having a magical barrier protecting all that work and effort for a further 450 years, roughly. Dior was going to have his work cut out for him just pulling the Sindar back together, even with a Silmaril. The relationship with the Doors was no more, thanks to their war with Doriath decades ago. His grandmother, Melian, had long departed Middle-earth to return to Valinor after the murder of Thingol by said dwarves, robbing the borders of their omnipotent protection that even Morgoth could not break, which was probably because the haunted forest of Nan Dungortheb blocked the northern passage and tried to kill everyone equally, and that Morgoth was a coward. Otherwise, he may have tried to break into Doriath with all three jewels when he had a chance. Anyway, put yourself in Dior's position then. You are trying to rebuild a superpower from literal scratch and gather back together all its people in a land much more dangerous so that you can get jumped by orcs, Easterlings, Balrogs, or one particular malicious dragon at any particular moment. You're doing well, and then out of the blue, some dude with a message runs up to your door saying that some ragtag band of ruffians who were survivors from a long-distant war that you only heard about in bedtime stories now wants to get your mother's jewel back. Think about that. Ruffians compared to armies and nation building. You decide. Either way, I believe that all these factors are what motivated Dior's lack of response and not taking the Feanorian faction of the Noldor seriously. And thus he found out the hard way what everyone else in Beleriand already knew. Always take a threat from the Sons of Feanor seriously. This is the Miller Philosopher. Have a good day.